Hi, Sophia. Thank you for stopping by. So it has been 2 years of running the Grace Cup. We actually turned 2 years on July the 1st. So we've been about 2 years, 1 month, and I thought it would be nice for me to just come on here and give you some of the lessons that I've learned while running this business, especially in Kenya. So this is specifically in Kenya. The first thing that I've learned is you will lose out on competition. So what do I mean by this? It just happened actually just recently that a client came, wanted to buy like a bulk of cups, and he was like, wow, your price is a bit higher, so I'm going to go to buy from somebody else. And I thought about it for a second and I was like, should I lower my price just for this person? And the moment at that moment, I just remembered, Ebby, know your worth. So you know you're not just selling a cup, but you're selling a lifestyle. You're selling freedom, you're selling convenience. There's the follow-up things that you do, there's training that you do for the cup. So you're not just selling a cup, but you're selling extra things as well as the cup itself. And also the amount of time that you've put in. So what I can say when it comes to just business in general is you will lose out on competition, and it will hurt, but what you need to do is you need to stick it out because you already know your worth. You already know how much your product is worth or how much you are worth as a person. So it means at the end of the day, if the client decides to go to someone cheaper, then okay. I mean, they're cheaper because they know why they're cheaper. Maybe they're getting at a cheaper price, or they're selling, the quality that they're selling is not as good as yours, or they're not offering any extra service, whatever reason that makes them cheap. If the client chooses to go to that side, let them do. But please just know your worth and just know that at some point you will lose out on competition. Point number 2 is do not have employees if you can do it yourself. I see this happening with so many entrepreneurs. Like, you start your business today and you already have a salesperson, you have an accountant, you have a manager, you have this and that. I mean, depending on the size of your business. So if you're just running a small business like mine, where I'm working from home, I can do these things by myself. So you only need to employ someone if, say, you already have another 9 to 5, which means you cannot physically be there. But things like hiring a social media manager and hiring all these other people, just don't do it, because the first year of your business you're going to run at losses, and you really don't need the extra penny that you're making going into salaries. So if you can, depending on the kind of business that you're in, if you can do it yourself, please do it yourself. And if you have to employ or to have extra help, then outsource. Like, don't get a permanent employee, because an employee now means salaries, it means benefits, it means laws, and it means taxes, and it means all these other things. So please just get like a consultant or someone who comes in like once a month, or to do bookkeeping or something like that. Apart from that, just learn it and do it yourself. And another point riding on that one is outsource. So what do I mean by this? I mean that you will not be good at everything, that I agree. But that again does not mean that you get a permanent employee, like you go out to employ someone to do these things. So you need to outsource, like I just said. And for me, like when it comes to managing my time in the office, what I really need to outsource, or what I normally outsource, are things that I feel like they're just mundane tasks that I'll just spend hours on while somebody else could do. So for example, stock taking, like counting the number of cups that I have and balancing all that. I really find that mundane, and I find that I could just like get my sister or my cousin or someone around to just do that, like to do the counting and the arranging and things like that. And also, if you're working from home like me, then I find that sometimes doing house chores can really take a lot of my time. So I don't really have a housekeeper. I do most of the things myself. But then I did, this year I did invest in a washing machine, because God knows I hate washing clothes. Hand washing is just a no for me. So before I used to like get, Mama Fua to come and clean the clothes for me. But then I started looking at the time that that I'm spending just to organize this, and also the money that I'm spending, I'd rather just invest in a washing machine, and then that could just take care of itself. Because now that I look at the big scheme of things, whatever I used to feel like was a lot of work for me was really just laundry. Laundry was the big thing, and now that I have the machine, it does that for me. As for cleaning the rooms like the living room and whatever, I mean, I live by myself, so it's not getting that dirty. So I can do that maybe once or twice, even a month, you know. So what I'm trying to say is learn to outsource in your business. Just think of the tasks that, okay, think of it this way. How long will this task take you? And could you be doing something better within this time? Is there something else you could be doing with your time? And is there someone else who could do this job just as good as you, and it won't cost you as much money? So for example, in my instance, then because washing clothes will take me like maybe 3-4 hours of doing that. In those 3 or 4 hours, I could be sending emails, I could be networking with other people, but I could find like 1,000 bob and pay Mama Fua to do this. So look at your value for time and your value for money. So if this is something that you can outsource and get someone to do it, do that. Another big lesson that I've learned is when it comes to networking. So I know there's a lot of social media marketing and doing things digitally, which is great, and I'm sure we all know everything about that. But also what I've come to learn of recently is, especially with my big clients, you know, when you're working with county governments and NGOs and people like that, they're not on Instagram. They're not on Facebook. They're not watching my YouTube channel right now. So how do you get them? You need to walk in, you need to go to meetings, you need to any networking event that you have, that's where you go. So there's a lot of networking that is still there. Traditional networking is what I'm talking about, where the face-to-face, where you drop CVs and you go there, like not CVs, but you drop your pitch, like your proposals. So the people that are there, the people who actually do have the money and can really boost your business are not watching you on Instagram. So for me, my clients, like how I normally make money is when I sell my cups in bulk and not really sell like 1 or 2 cups. So my focus is not really on social media, and like it's great. Social media is great, don't get me wrong. Like I sell a lot on social media, but you're only selling like 1 or 2 cups or 3 or 4 cups, you know. But when you want to sell like 100 cups and above, then there's a lot of old school traditional networking that will need to happen. So as much as we are in the digital space, please do not neglect the old school way of networking and talking to people. You know, like you might meet someone at a social event who might not directly influence your business, but they know someone who knows someone who knows someone, and that's how you're going to network, and that's how you grow your business. So that was a very big lesson for me, because I look back at all the big jobs that I've done at the Grace Cup, none of them from social media, not one. Another point is you need to cut as many costs as you can. So if you can help it, if you can work from home, like for me, this is my home office, so everything is in the house. So my office is at home, and when I have like a physical meeting, then I try to do like a Skype call or a WhatsApp video call, or I'll meet at a cafe with the client, or I will go to their office. Which reminds me, if you're interested in knowing how I run my home office, please let me know in the comment section, and I'll do like a completely different segment on that, because there's a lot to learn about running a home office. People just think, oh, you're working from home, it's easy and it's cheap. No, it's not. There's a lot that goes into it, and sometimes you do wish that you actually just had like an actual office, you know, with other people. But yes, the point is try and cut your costs as much as you can. So when it comes to banking, when it comes to your rent, when it comes to employees, cut your costs as much as you can. And anything that you can do by yourself, please find time and do it yourself. Another point is, if you're especially in year 1 of your business, please find another source of income if you can. So for example, you've started your business right from scratch. for me, for example, I was still doing voiceovers. I mean, I'm still doing voiceovers still now because I need the extra cash. Do your voiceovers. I still did acting. There's so many online platforms where you can earn money online. So for example, for me, I used to work for a website called Upwork. So Upwork is basically just people from all over the world who go in and say, hey, I need an assistant, or I need help in doing this and that. So for me, for example, I used to get lots of voiceover jobs, lots of translation jobs, lots of just typing out, like on a show on Netflix where you see like subtitles of whatever is being said. So there are people actually all over the world who are doing that, who are doing the not the translations, but definitely it's called transcripts, but like writing the transcripts for the show. So there's a lot of work on that, which is like constant work, and you can make a lot of money depending on how much time you're going to put into it. For me, it wasn't really a thing for me because I don't know, I just found it very mundane. At some point it was fun, but then it just started getting very boring for me. But there's definitely a lot of online work that you can do. All you need to do is just invest in very good home internet so that you can have very good speeds and you can work online. So, and if you're not working online, maybe you have a regular, your 9-to-5 job, please try, and if you can, try and balance it. Like, don't leave your permanent employment just the moment when you're starting your business, unless of course you're having investors who are expecting you to be there throughout, which means that you're earning a salary. Otherwise, if you're just working for yourself, please find something else on the side, because it's going to be tough. The first year is really just going to be really tough. Another thing is you need to have separate accounts. I cannot emphasize this anymore. Like, you really need to have separate accounts, and I'm talking your bank accounts, your M-Pesa accounts, they need to be separate. So for example, for me, I bank with two banks. One is Equity for my personal banking, and the other one is SBM for the business banking. Also for the M-Pesa, I have a till number for the business, and I have my personal number for my personal M-Pesa. Try as much as you can to separate those two. I was not very good with doing that because I'd always be spending my own money, and then I'm like, okay, now the business owes me 45k, but now I already took 40k, and now this and that, now that, and it gets very confusing, especially if it's your own money. So try to learn how to balance and how to separate those two. So for example, sometimes I've run out of my own cash, and I would use the SBM, my business Visa card to do shopping. At the end of the day, I have to write down, okay, I've spent 3,500 at Carrefour. That was not my money, it was business money, which means at the end of the month or at the end of the week, I need to replace this money. This is not your money. So always try to keep your accounts separate. Just imagine if you're employed by some man or some woman has employed you. Would you really be taking out the business money like that? No. You will find a way to survive. You will go to Fuliza, you will go to whatever other, you'll go to a bank, you'll go, what's this other one called? I forget this, Tala. You go to Tala and all that. You'll find ways of borrowing money. So look at this business account as not just your account, but it's a business account. And I know some people who are very extreme in the sense of, yes, it's their business, but they have two signatories to the account, which means that every time before they get out any amount of money, even if it's 10 bob, someone else has to sign off to that. So if you know you're not good with money, find someone else, an accountability partner of sorts, who will like have your head straight. Like, okay, Ebby, you want to spend 3,000 on lipstick. Why are you using business money? Why are you doing that? So have someone maybe to sign off every single check or every little money that you have. Which reminds me, I will do a separate video on banking and how to separate those two, and what banks I've tried and which ones did not work for me and for whatever reason. So if you're interested in that, also let me know and I'll make a video on that one as well. Another thing that I learned was from my grandma. When I started my business, I remember asking my grandmother any business advice that she can give me, and she told me, don't be greedy. That's all she said. And I was like, okay, what does that mean? And she said, don't try and get as much as you can. in an unfair way. So don't try and make like ridiculous profits in ways that are illegal or corrupt or ungodly. Just don't be greedy. And if you're not greedy, you will grow steadily. But if you're greedy, you'll grow so much, like you'll just explode. You'll grow so much, and then the fall will just be as rapid. So in your business right now, don't be greedy. Don't be greedy. Also, another point riding on that is don't just seek advice from the CEOs and the white collar job kind of people. Sometimes get your advice from Mama Mboga outside your door. Trust me, she has a lot of advice that you might be overlooking, but it's actually very good, very tangible advice that can be applied into your business. So get your business advice from anywhere. Don't just be looking at one point of reference. Also look at Mama Maka, that guy who's selling you charcoal outside the door. Some of these people have been in business for over 20 years. So they might not have all the answers to the world, but they might tell you something that will actually impact your business in the end. The second last point is take classes. So I've said this before. I took classes last year. I took 2 different courses. One was called MRF. That's Bugwa Rosemary Foundation. So that was like about 6 months. Yeah, it was about 6 months. And the good thing was it was on a scholarship. So we only paid 5,000 shillings and that was it. So it was basically free. You can actually say it was free. This year, their graduation is in August, and I'm sure after that they'll start taking in new applicants again. That course for me was amazing because it really taught me about the Kenyan market, the Kenyan business space, because it was like every week they would invite different people. So like someone from social media marketing, someone from KRA was invited, an accountant was invited, a lawyer was invited, someone from Kanjo, city council came and talked to us about different things and how to, especially operating a business within the city. So if you can find courses like that, and if you can actually get it on a scholarship or get it for free, even better, please take such classes. Some of them do like master classes where you go for like 1 weekend and that's it. But this one was like over 6 months and it was there every Saturday. And another course that I took was called Impact. Impact was basically entrepreneurs both from Europe and Africa. So we all went to Berlin in Germany for the training for 1 week. Then the following year, which is beginning of this year, we met at Masai Lodge, all of us again, just talking and discussing and breaking down our businesses and seeing how to improve. So if you can get classes like that, please don't assume that you know everything because you don't. I can assure you that, and there's always something new to learn. So try and get courses or classes like that if you can. And finally, for me, which was also very important to me, is don't waste your time looking at competition. Just don't. Do not waste your time looking at competition. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying you should not know what your competition is doing. That you should know. But don't spend all your time just watching them. Do that, that's how you break yourself, and that's how you just become a reactive kind of person and not a proactive kind of person. What do I mean by that? So for example, you're just watching your competition, say you sell clothes and you're just watching your other friend who's also selling clothes, and you're just thinking, oh well they've reduced their price, so I need to reduce my price, or they're having a sale, so I need to have a sale, or they've introduced this, so I need to do that. No, like check on them once in a while, there's no harm in that. But my friend, if you keep doing that, your plate will be getting cold as you're watching another person eat. So please stop focusing on competition. Become proactive. Don't become reactive. I hope that makes sense, and I hope that all these tips have been helpful to you if you're in business or if you're thinking of starting or getting into business. If you have any other lessons that you've learned, if you're running a business or you're thinking of running a business, if you have any other lessons, please share them in the comment section below. I would love to read them as well. And if you have any questions about what I've just said, please let me know as well. And I will see you next week. Thank you very much for stopping by.